Hi listeners and fellow adventurers, this is Living in the Sprawl's lovely and talented fiancée/producer, Lisa Lowe, here to tell you about Everytable, which I have enjoyed for the past few months. I work a full-time job outside of producing this podcast, so my days typically start at 4 a.m. to exercise, work a full day, cook, clean, and work on this podcast, all while trying to get to bed by 9 p.m. Like many of you, there aren't always enough hours in the day to do it all. So I do rely on food delivery that requires little to no prep, is healthy, cost-effective, and most importantly, delicious. Everytable's mission is to transform the food system to make fresh and nutritious food accessible to everyone, everywhere. They offer fresh, made from scratch, ready-to-eat meals that start at $5 each. For the Los Angeles foodies out there, meal options also include a curry chicken from Trap Kitchen and a Creole chicken grain bowl from Post and Beam. I have ordered just about every meal they offer and can tell you that I have not had one that I did not enjoy and would not order again. Everytable is offering our listeners 2 free meals and free delivery when you use the code SPRAWL, SPRAWL, on your first subscription order. I will put the link in the show notes and on our website at livinginthesprawlpodcast.com. Be sure to tag us and Everytable in your social media posts and let us know what you think. And now, your humble correspondent and this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Living in the Sprawl, Southern California's most adventurous podcast. I am your humble correspondent and host. My name is Jon Steinberg. Sitting alongside me, as always, is my lovely and immensely talented producer/fiancée. Her name is Lisa Lowe, and wanted to go ahead and give you guys what I consider to be a red meat kind of episode. I don't literally mean anything having to do with, consuming beef, anything along those lines. I mean, this is a topic where if you type in what are the best beaches in Southern California on Google, you will undoubtedly uncover a multitude of publications from legitimate to not so legitimate, all weighing in with their respective thoughts concerning the water, the ocean, and all of the phenomenal beaches that stretch from down south in San Diego, and as for our purview, all the way up to Morro Bay in San Luis Obispo County. No quirky title for the episode. Just seemed to me to be time to give the listeners what they've been asking for. We have received a couple of emails requesting this particular topic. So if you were one of the individuals, we are doing this for the fans. When people think about California, their minds do tend to veer to the beach, to the water, to the United States equivalent of Italy's Amalfi Coast. People that live all across the country, nay, all across the globe, travel to the Golden State to see what we are fortunate enough to be able to interact with on a routine basis. I could have easily created a list entirely based in San Diego, in Los Angeles, in Santa Barbara, in Ventura. Each of these specific counties has a wide swath of incredible options when it comes to the proverbial day at the beach. But what we wanted to do here at Living in the Sprawl is bring to you a collection of beaches that highlight different ways in which a quote-unquote day at the beach can be experienced. From outstanding, iconic boardwalks to piers that rival the romanticism on display in cities like Paris, tremendous surfing spots, local haunts. We wanted to provide you, our wonderful listeners, with a comprehensive guide to Southern California's best beaches. So, to that end, let's get started. Number 10, we're going to begin our survey of California's most dynamic spots along the sea in Belmont Shores. So this is on the southern edge of Long Beach before Long Beach turns into Los Alamitos and Orange County. We're still in Los Angeles County if we are in Long Beach. But Belmont Shores feels like a different world compared to, say, downtown Long Beach. Now, as mentioned in previous episodes, I'm someone that loves downtown regions and all they have to offer. But this is a beach episode, so that's going to be the thrust of what we're talking about here. And for primetime, idyllic vistas, and incredible strolls along the sea, Belmont Shores is definitely something that needs to be included on a list such as this. Last summer, the extraordinarily talented producer of this show and I had an opportunity to take a gondola ride out of Belmont Shores, and it was incredibly romantic. I swear, we actually saw a proposal happen right in front of us. And I've been to Venice, Italy, and the experience, while different and while decidedly not on par with that of Venice, was not as far away as I might have anticipated. Some really nice, I would say, parent-friendly, child-friendly restaurants in the area that offer kind of food that you might expect. But you're here for the beach. You're here for the view. And you most certainly are here to have a very memorable experience in Belmont Shores. This is not a surfing destination. Other places that specialize in that will come a little bit later on this list. But if we're going for views and we're going for, as my fiancée would say, romantical things, then Belmont Shores offers a great foray into that realm. So take the one you love, take him or her to Belmont Shores. Number 9, we're going to head to the Central Coast, stopping for a wonderful day at the beach in Pismo Beach. Much different from Grover Beach, Avila Beach, Arroyo Grande, Oceana, some of the different little cities that make up the bulk of this area. Pismo has what I would describe as a quintessential West Coast boardwalk. Now, it's not Santa Cruz, and it's nowhere near as crowded as, say, Mission Beach in San Diego, but it has everything that you might expect from a boardwalk nestled along the Pacific in Southern California. Clams, as far as the eye can see, on every menu in town, even though they haven't really been fished here in multiple decades. An ambiance rivaling that of, I'd say, most places that you're likely to find in Orange County and Los Angeles County for residents of this particular part of the state or those who are coming to visit. Pismo Beach offers surfing, lazy beach going, volleyball, a nice place to lay out, getting some exposure to a tan. The first time I ever heard of Pismo Beach, I was a kid, and I was watching the movie Clueless for the umpteenth time, and there's a scene where Alicia Silverstone is presenting to her class about wanting to fundraise to help the folks who've been left out in the cold by the Pismo Beach disaster. And she's heading up the Pismo Beach Disaster Relief Fund. And I had no conception of what Pismo Beach was, where it was, what it was, whether it was real or something that had been fictionalized for that particular film. But when I actually had the opportunity to visit Pismo Beach, I was struck by its authentic blend of kind of a larger boardwalk with a small town sensibility. So, no, again, it's not Santa Cruz, but it has all of those features with a fraction of the tourists. So, if you're from out of town in particular, Pismo Beach, great option. Like if you've gone to Hearst Castle, that's driving distance, or other places in San Luis Obispo County, or if you're even feeling ambitious heading up from Santa Barbara, Pismo Beach is a very nice place to spend a day, and that's why it comes in on our list here at number 9. Number 8. This time we head to Santa Barbara, actually Montecito to be specific, settling in at Butterfly Beach. Now, I had the opportunity to go on an official city, well, I guess it was kind of a visitor center tourist guide to the area, where it was actually promoted that you might see a local celebrity at the beach and in the area, as celebrities do reside in the Montecito area. If I were that celebrity, I think I'd be a little bit annoyed. I'm trying to get some anonymity if I'm residing there and not in the Hollywood Hills, probably. In any event, this is a decidedly more ritzy kind of beach than the first two that we've mentioned. This is basically adjacent to the Santa Barbara Biltmore Hotel that was immortalized in the movie The Graduate. And locals know it's not a spot where you will see the gaucho crowd. People that actually enjoy surfing and aren't into the smell of marijuana smoke all around enjoy Butterfly Beach. It's probably not a place where you'll see that many out-of-towners, more a locals spot. Just as beautiful as any postcard that you're likely to find in a tchotchke store. If you're interested in a lovely, stress-free day at the beach without all the fuss and hullabaloo that you might encounter at some of the other spots on this list, Butterfly Beach in Montecito might be a great bet for you. Posh, but not in your face with that. Easy, without feeling like your experience is being cheapened. Butterfly Beach offers everything that a sublimely gorgeous beach in Montecito should provide. So check it out if you're in the area. Number 7, Point Dune Beach. This is in Malibu. It was inevitable that our journey visiting the best beaches in Southern California, inevitable that we would get to Malibu sooner or later. And this is our first stop in the area. Some of the most dramatic landscape scenes that the California coast has to offer, period. There's always a vibe in Malibu when you get the waves thundering against rock formations, and you think about the types of individuals who reside in the area, and you go, oh, yeah, okay. The most dramatic people on the planet are who live here. So this makes a great deal of sense. There's absolutely nothing subtle about Malibu or this particular beach. It's where Jackie Treehorn's beach party was happening in the Big Lebowski, and a number of other movies and television shows have been filmed at the beach. Great opportunities for surfers. I actually don't know how to surf personally. Body surf, yes, but surf, no, although I have members of my family who have told me that this is one of the best spots in the entire region for avid surfers. Did you ever hear the bit about how Jerry Seinfeld said, you can't be funny at the beach? I dare you to go to Point Dune and try coming up with an hour-long set that you'd feel comfortable trotting out of the Comedy Store. It's not going to happen when you find yourself at a place as over-the-top gorgeous as Point Dune. There's not a whole lot else to say other than I'm happy that I'm alive. So if you want a truly life-affirming beach experience, this is a terrific place to get exactly that. So if you want to have your breath taken away, Point Dune in Malibu. Number 6, we got Silver Strand Beach. This is in Ventura County. I guess you might technically say that it's an Oxnard, although I'm sure people who go to this particular beach on a regular basis would refute that assertion. A fun way to experience the beach without maybe the crazy parking headaches and hassles that you might encounter at some other spots. This is not a place that like a Frommer's guide will tell you to travel to. It is very much a locals-oriented spot, and that's part of what makes it so damned charming. You can look out and see some of the Channel Islands. You are near the military base, and yet it feels like you're at a kind of secret destination. This is not Zuma or Venice Beach, Santa Monica. This is a beach for people that actually spend time in the water on a regular basis. So if you're somebody that enjoys all the activities that people get up to in the water, kayaking, surfing, stand-up paddle boarding, all of those types of things, Silver Strand is a great alternative if you want to get away from the crowds in Los Angeles and you are nowhere near Montecito.
Hi listeners, John and I have tried multiple brands and forms of CBD over the last 2 years. I use it for inflammation and to help with what we call stressies here at Living in the Sprawl. And John uses it right before bed for better sleep quality. After our search, we have found one that works great for both of us. We are huge fans of JustCBD sugar-free gummies. They are great tasting and offer a variety of different flavors and strengths. If tinctures or topicals are more your speed, they have options for those as well. They have a great customer service team that I have personally worked with, are cost-effective compared to other brands out there, and offer free shipping on orders over $35. JustCBD store is offering our listeners 20% off every order when you use the link in the show notes or on our website and the code SPRAWL, SPRAWL. Check them out and let us know what you think.
Number 5, we got to head down to San Diego. This is not going to be our last stop, but it's one of the best ones, Ocean Beach, or OB, as those in the know tend to call it. Kind of a bohemian enclave in the San Diego region. This is a far cry from the more, I guess you could say, popular, certainly more populated beach Mission. Ocean is a bit of an alternative to that beach in particular, but some of the other ones that you might have heard about in the area. And yet it still offers that spectacular dance with nature that always accompanies a day at the beach. Again, if you're interested, surfing, kayaking, playing volleyball, Top Gun style, they've got you covered here. This is an area that has yet to be swallowed up by the big box corporate-oriented stores that populate many of the communities, towns, and areas in the United States. Residents have actually mounted vigorous challenges to businesses like Target, who had to fight like hell to be allowed to have a presence in the community. This might be San Diego's last great oceanfront area that has yet to be completely monopolized by people with more money than they could ever spend in a lifetime. You will get a decidedly more community-oriented populace around here, and if you're interested in a genuine ocean experience, then we think that you'll find that at Ocean Beach in San Diego. Number 4, Leo Carrillo Beach. Again, we head back to Malibu. It's unavoidable. We have to mention this spot. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing my job. with this program. So if you were to close your eyes and describe what you imagine a Malibu beach to look like, it might be something like what you'd actually find at Leo Carrillo. And that's why it's so often used as a filming location. When you think back to movies like Beach Blanket Bingo, Gidget, and even That Thing You Do, which was spoofing those types of movies, they were all shot here. It is one of the most common, if not the most common place where films, television shows, and the like are shot. It offers some of the best surfing in the region, which is why this is where Keanu Reeves learned to... I'm playing it as though I don't know his name in Point Break. I do. It's Johnny Utah. It's where Johnny Utah learns to surf in Point Break. And if it's good enough for him, I believe that it's good enough for anyone. You will find that this beach is not a secret. If you go on a weekend in the summer, you will feel like the California Lotto said they would be issuing a free check for $10 million to one lucky individual, provided they make their way to Leo Carrillo State Beach. It's immensely popular because it's objectively beautiful, fun, if a wee bit snobby, but ultimately, yeah, if you're going for one beach in the Los Angeles County, I'd probably say go to Leo Carrillo. It does the job every time. Number 3, Crystal Cove in my hometown of Newport Beach. So this is kind of on the border between Newport and Laguna Beach, but luckily it is encompassed within the bounds of Newport, not Laguna. It's the beach from the movie Beaches, as was mentioned in a previous episode. But what I failed to mention is the array of architecturally fascinating homes that line the beach that are all part of the Crystal Cove Historic District. I'm pretty sure that whole kind of area, it's a historic overlay zone. So every property within an overlay zone is automatically lumped into one entry on National Register of Historic Places list. So that means it's got almost a European-ish vibe in terms of kind of the older, unique-looking homes. And then if you wanted to start a cult based on tranquility, this might be a good place to think about mounting that campaign. Extremely calm, as peaceful as it gets. If you want to enjoy the Mexican food that Kobe Bryant used to love eating, Javier's is right around the corner. Crystal Cove was a beach that I got to experience a lot when I was younger, and I would hope that anyone in the area looking for an Orange County beach experience would check it out. It's not as, let's say, tourist friendly, maybe as some of the other spots in other parts of Orange County. But if you're looking for a genuine piece of California Americana and the epitome of the quote-unquote good life, you will find that when you stop at Crystal Cove. Number 2, Moonlight Beach. This takes us back to San Diego, this time to Encinitas, kind of on the border with La Jolla. This is just one of my personal favorite beaches in the entire state, definitely in the entire region, which is why it's at number 2. Just an awesome spot for everything that you're looking for from a Southern California beach. Great place to lay out, beach sports, water activities. If you wanted to read the 28th book in Janet Ivanovich's series, you could do that here. If you wanted to write the first book in whatever series you are planning on creating and unleashing into the world, you could also do that here. If you wanted to plan your next 5 years of life, not a bad spot to do it in. If you wanted to reflect on the last 5 years in your life. Splendid place to do that as well. Not as widely beloved as other places in the area, but if you happen to get to Moonlight Beach and it's July, it's June, it's May, it's early August, it'll be hard to be mad about anything, anxious about anything. You won't be funny, but in that moment, you will consider that you might be the best version of yourself. So Moonlight Beach is great. Number 1, Pacific Beach, our third stop in San Diego. Again, as mentioned at the outset of today's episode, you could craft an entire episode around different beaches within San Diego. It's the best thing about San Diego, in my opinion. There's no denying how gorgeous the water is in that part of the state and how objectively lovely the beaches really are. Now, if I were to encapsulate everything that makes for a once-in-a-lifetime beach experience, although I would hope it wouldn't be that, but if it were, all of that is on display at Pacific Beach, from the boardwalk and the restaurants and, let's just say, off-the-court related activities, or I guess off-the-beach related activities. Those are top-notch in this particular community. And if you're going for someplace where you can build a sandcastle or teach your daughter or son how to bodyboard, Pacific Beach offers a cross-section of different kinds of experiences for every conceivable member of the family. Yeah, there will be a large amount of other folks who have also gotten the memo regarding Pacific Beach, and there will be a younger crowd, but if you can roll with some of the riffraff that inevitably always manages to come to the surface in places like this, then you will be rewarded with the best top to bottom beach experience that I believe Southern California has to offer. If you're not careful, you will never want to leave. And with that, we want to thank you very much for your support. Again, this was a topic suggested by a couple of listeners, so we were able to go ahead and get this one ready. And won't say the couple of people by name, but yeah, this one does go out to them as well as everybody else. And if you do want to support the podcast, there are a couple of ways that you can do that. Very easy ways. One of them is by rating the program, leaving a review, 5 stars. Those really help. Maybe you've heard that on other podcasts, but you haven't been misled for some reason, and I'm not sure why, but those reviews, ratings, they have an outsized impact on the way in which a podcast is viewed by the public and exposure, all those good things. So that would really help. The social media, if you'd like to write us an email, you can do that. livinginthesprawl@gmail.com with suggestions for episodes, topics that you'd like for us to cover here on the show. Living in the Sprawl podcast, that is our Instagram handle. We love interacting with you guys, so please feel free to inundate us with your comments and perspective on some of the things that we've talked about on the show. And with that, again, thanks everybody for your support and for the crew here at the program. My name is Jon Steinberg, your humble correspondent and host, alongside my lovely and talented producer / fiancée, Lisa Lowe. Thank you very much for listening to Living in the Sprawl, Southern California's most adventurous podcast. See you next time.